Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Comic Book Weekly. Guys, we definitely have a show for you this week, and the most important thing is that all three of us are here on the camera for the first time in a couple of weeks, so I guess you're in for a special treat. We got some fun news topics to talk about, especially a fun topic in general when it comes to us buying comic books right now. And we'll talk about our top 5 most anticipated books we're looking to get rid of and a whole bunch more. So next to me, I have over here, which is Brant. Say hello.
What's up, everybody? Good to be back this week, for sure.
Yes, he's back. And then, of course, below, we have Cat Comic Uno.
Hello, guys. Welcome to the show. We are going to be talking some news pieces. It's definitely not as much as last time, so hopefully we'll breeze through some of these. But we do have some media news. Again, not as much as last time. But first up is something I wanted to talk about, which is Power Rangers moving to Netflix. I'm not watching the Power Rangers show currently, but it's been on Nickelodeon for a while, so I think it's interesting to see that it's moving to a streaming platform. Will kids find the show like they used to? I definitely found the show like through, WB or whatever it was on when I was younger. So, Saturday morning cartoons definitely kind of not existing at that point. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a big change for the franchise.
I didn't mark this, but I did want to comment on that because Netflix recently added a bunch of Nickelodeon stuff, right? Like a lot of kids shows like iCarly and stuff like that. And I think a lot of people watch Netflix, and I've seen so many freaking trailers for Netflix shows and movies lately that it's not surprising. So, but it's interesting. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it's definitely interesting.
It's Power Rangers. I didn't watch it then when it was on Fox.
Yeah.
Except that, I've said this before, but I haven't said it recently. But my introduction to Power Rangers was when I was making out with my girlfriend in my junior year, and it was like it happened to be on in like the afternoon time, like while Fox was on. And I remember, and I was next to my girlfriend, and I'm like, what the heck is this? I'm like, why? What is this Power Rangers, and why does it look so generic? So like back then it just seemed so bad, and
now it's part of your life so much. Who knew you'd be talking about it for so often on this show?
That's so crazy. Bad. I mean, you guys know that mine was through my little brother. He loved the show, and I would just make fun. I would watch it with him, but I'd silently make fun of it. It's like, why are they moving their heads every time they talk? It's like, I'm the Yellow Ranger, I will say this. So you know who was talking, but it was just like, yeah, this is ridiculous.
And why do they always do this every time they move?
Yeah.
I don't remember how or when I got into it. It was just definitely when I was very young, and I was like, oh, this is cool, because right after Static Shock or whatever, and I would just watch it. And then in high school, for some reason, I got into it again. Because I just like the idea of like seeing some female superheroes, and there's a lot of diversity. And honestly, it was like corny, and I enjoyed the corniness of it.
It's definitely that. But yeah, you're close to my brother's age, so that kind of you're in that same demographic, I guess, so that same generation.
Generation Power Rangers.
I did go to the movies with one of my best friends at the time, and saw the first Power Ranger.
Did you? I never knew that part.
Yes, just to see Kimberly.
Yeah,
and the movie was not as bad as the show. So if you're gonna watch anything, at least you got to see the movie.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on with Power Rangers, if you guys are curious of that one. But we do have one last media news piece, which is Brendan Fraser, who is a character in Doom Patrol, is going to be a villain in Batgirl, which I believe it's going to be Firefly. Yeah, which makes sense because that was Batgirl's first villain. So the reason why I'm marking this down, A, I'm excited for the Batgirl movie, but B, he already is a DC, person, like in a current television show. So to play another character, I find interesting.
Yeah, and especially one that you would suppose would be on, what do you call it? They have him up in the air, flying around, and I don't know, he's getting up there. He's a little older. His body's not as capable as it used to be. I think he's had some issues and stuff like that. So it's interesting. I mean, I assume a stunt double, but
It's gonna have a lot of stunt doubles for sure for that one.
Yeah.
So that's all the media news. So now we're gonna actually get into some comic news. So Brent, you wanted to talk about Captain Krakoa is gonna be in charge of the X-Men. I don't know who that is because I'm already in the X-Men right now.
Yeah, see, that's my thing. I have no idea who this is. That article said it was like announced in September, and I'm like, I missed this completely. I didn't see anything about this, so I don't know who it is either. And my first thoughts was, oh, Cyclops got a new name. He's Captain Krakoa now because it kind of looks like him. But the solicit said that he's not so thrilled with him. So I don't know. Who the heck is this guy? What is this story? Anybody out there, help me.
I don't know. I heard this and I saw the image of the character, and I'm sitting there going, "Is this real life?" Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or is this like a early April Fool's joke? Like, what is this? I can't take this seriously. And then I'm just like, man, have we really fallen this far? Has the X-Men really dropped to this level to where we need a Captain Krakoa? Like, we need a protector of Krakoa.
Captain Planet.
Isn't that the X-Men? And like, that's him. Like, who is he?
He kind of has like a Psylocke.
Does he have flowers on his helmet?
Yeah. It looks like he does. Interesting.
Huh. Oh, that's interesting's a word. Yes. So there's Captain Krakoa. Are you going to read it? I don't know if I am.
I've already dropped title.
If it's in the X-Men title, it's the one title I'm reading. So obviously, I guess I am.
Yeah. Oh man.
So we'll see where that one goes. Let's see what else we got here. We also have a alternate reality Angel series coming out. The only reason I wanted to talk about this because I'm not really current on the Buffy series or Angel, but Cordelia is going to be in this one, and maybe this is another chance to maybe get it right. So I'm going to give this one a shot. It's like him as a TV show or something. So it was weird. I didn't really read too much into it because I want to be surprised, but I'll give it a solid shot. That's the one I want to talk about.
Yeah, I'm not current on that one either. So yeah, I was going to mention this comment Serenity made. It looks like Marvel Boy from Children of the Atom. That's interesting. So I don't
remember any of the characters from Children of the Atom.
Yeah.
Well, let's go into the next thing here. There's so much Spider-Man news that I kind of want to like group that together. So I'm going to talk about a bigger news piece, which is the Superman Son of Kal-El outselling #1. So it's so funny because like all these, people who are whatever had their thoughts on Son of Kal-El. They're like, oh, so, it's not going to sell. They never sell. And then it sells even better than issue 1, which rarely happens in comics. Like that really rarely happens.
That's why. It's spec.
Yeah, it's a spec book.
Sure.
But you could have said the same thing about, I guess, the Tim Drake stuff. But I'm glad that it also proves, because they announced this before FOC, like the power of doing something like that. And maybe it was good that they revealed this before it came out, at least for comic sales.
Yeah, for sure. Not so great for spoilers, but but yeah, for sales and awareness and all that good stuff. So yeah, it's not surprising that it outsold it, but at the same time, like you said, it doesn't happen that often. So it's a big deal.
My shop, all of a sudden, like there were copies on the racks of all the issues from up until this announcement happened. And of course, now my shop didn't even put the copies on the rack. They handed it to people that were actually pulling the comic.
Oh, wow.
Because people were after it just for spec reasons, you know, and that's what happens. So they can try to make a buck on eBay or, flip it or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
They're in it for their greedy intentions.
They definitely are. And this is going to be an interesting spec book, but also Did they say it sold out already too? So that's gonna be, it's gonna be worth money because it's sold out. And with we're gonna talk about our bigger story with the printing issue that's going on. It might actually really sell out and not have any second printings or third printings. So that's a big deal too. So this could be even rarer than a normal sellout book, which again we're gonna talk about a little later. So let's get into some Spider-Man news. So we have Silk getting a new series. It's a new writer. It's the same artist, which I think is smart. I really didn't like the last miniseries. You could kind of tell, and nothing against novelists that write comics, but you could kind of tell it was a novelist instead of a comic book writer just because of the way it was written. And, I think Rainbow Rowell is a great writer, and she started out in novels. So I can't say that's for everybody, but for this one in particular, it didn't really focus a lot on the comic book narrative. So I'm hoping for the best. I'll pick up issue 1, and I hope it's better than the last miniseries for me. But I like the art for the last one, so I'm excited that the same artist is on there.
Yeah, I like the art for the last one. I like the story. I didn't love it. It wasn't like my favorite, story ever, but I did enjoy it, and I stuck with it through the whole thing. So I'm not familiar with this new writer, Emily Kim, I think it is.
Yeah, I'm not
familiar
know her either.
Yeah, so I'll definitely try it out though. I'm always down to try more Silk. I do like the character.
I like the character too. I dropped it like halfway through. It just got too weird with the cat character thing and all that stuff. I was just like, okay, whatever. And we'll see what happens. I have a feeling that Silk is going to be one of those characters where it's going to be nothing but miniseries. Yeah, that's all it's going to be.
All right, well, let's get into the next thing, which is Mary Jane and Black Cat teams up for a one-shot. Like, definitely getting that. Let me see who's writing it. I don't know if it's the same creative team as the previous Black Cat or, like, how this is connected in any way. Let's see. Former Black Cat writer. Yeah, so it's the same person who was doing the previous Black Cat. Yeah, it's Jed McKay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'm going to get this. This sounds fun. That's all I have to say about it. Like, I think that's going to be a cool issue. I wonder, like, what it's going to mean for anything. But either way, I just hope it's a cool one-shot.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on board with it. I mean, it's got J. Scott Campbell artwork, which I like. And then it's got Jed McKay that's writing it. And then it's got Black Cat on there. And it's got Mary Jane on it. And they're working together. Like, you can't ask for anything more from a Spider-Man family book, right?
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. And also, I'm getting to the point with Jed McKay where it's like anything that he writes, I'm going to at least try it. So
yeah,
nice. What else is he writing right now?
Moon Knight. Yeah, he's writing Moon Knight. He was writing or is writing Black Cat. I think there might have been something else too. I don't remember.
He did Taskmaster.
Yeah, Taskmaster.
I know. Maybe didn't he do like that magic book? Was that him? From Boom.
Did he?
I don't remember.
I
don't know who was doing. Let me see. Boom Studios.
Oh,
I think it was him. Yeah.
I tried that. I didn't stick with that one. But
that's a little bit different, I guess, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not totally superheroes. But yeah, that's the Black Cat Mary Jane news. So we're gonna move into Spider-Man getting a horror series. It's spinning out of Nonstop Spider-Man. I think the article does mention like Nonstop Spider-Man maybe not selling the way it should have because of COVID. So maybe this is like the second chance for this book. I didn't like Nonstop Spider-Man. I'm reading enough Spider-Man on a weekly basis. I don't think I'm gonna get this one, depending on like what the series is about, but. For me, I
when
think
was the last time Nonstop Spider-Man even came out?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Did it get canceled? I don't know.
Did it finish though?
Well, that's a big question.
Into the middle of it, I don't remember. Jed McKay's writing Death of Doctor Strange as well. So.
That's right.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know that I'm excited about a sequel. I did like the Nonstop, but this one seems like it's going in a completely different direction. So I don't know. There's a lot of Spider-Man, right? So.
Well, I'm not buying it if it's a sequel to Nonstop because the first one for me, I wasn't into it. It was too scattered brained. The only thing that I like, and I know it was probably done on purpose, I wanted to know about the Zemo story, but they never got to it. And so who knows? Now I don't care.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it's like, that was an interesting little twist at the end of that issue too, and it's just like it kind of never went anywhere. So yeah, I'm not excited about this one like I was with Nonstop, I think.
I was even excited for Nonstop, so
Yeah,
that's
I
where I'm
know.
at with this. Yeah, it is not for me. But the next thing we have for Spider-Man is Spider-Man gets an exclusive story through digital comics. So this one is written by, I believe, the writer who writes Miles Morales, but I want to double check that. Yeah, it's Saladin Ahmed who's writing it, which is written by Saladin. He's part of the current rotation of Amazing Spider-Man, and the illustrations by Juan Ferreira. I've never heard of the artist. This is what have they done before?
I haven't seen the name for a long time. There was a series, an Image series that he did it years and years ago. I can't remember the name of it. The Small Gods, I think. Yeah, he's a veteran. He's a veteran artist.
So it looks like this is called Spine Tingling Spider-Man. I've been into spooky stuff almost as long as I've been into superheroes. So it looks like it's going to be another spooky series for Spider-Man. And again, it's exclusive to their Infinite run. I don't have the app. I'm not going to get it for this. Doesn't really seem like it's going to be too much continuity. Maybe it will because he's part of the regular Spider-Man series. But, again, getting enough Spider-Man. I don't think I need this, so I'm gonna skip it. I don't need the digital exclusive. But
it had
cool
some
that they're
like
using
creepy music.
Characters.
It had some creepy music trailer with it. Yeah, it was.
Oh, I didn't even watch the trailer.
I don't.
Yeah, that article even talked about the theme song for it. So
I'm glad that they made some theme music. Are you guys gonna read it?
No.
Probably not. It's like, even though I do read digital comics, I don't go out of my way to find ones that aren't coming out the week. Right. You know what I'm saying? The digital version of the physical books.
Now, if it comes out eventually in physical, maybe I'll check it out then and see. Right?
I don't even know if I would get it if it was a physical book. It just seems so fillerish. And again, that writer, I haven't found many books that I've enjoyed from them, sadly. So I don't know if it's a must do for me. Must read. So let's get into the main topic, which is actually kind of weaving into one of the bigger news pieces this week, is that Image Comics has announced that they're not going to be doing second printing. So the first run is going to be their only run, which makes these books even rarer once that, let's say a Stray Dogs comes out. They did a couple of printings of that. So now that first issue is going to be pretty rare. But yeah, what's our thoughts about this? I haven't seen anything affected yet with this this print, the paper shortage. That's kind of what we're talking about here. I don't know. I'm curious as a comic creator myself if that's going to affect me when I'm printing my books for Kickstarter. So far, it hasn't, but
yeah, so far, thankfully, knock on wood.
Yeah. Knock on wood. That's not gonna be fun. But I think I think this time period is just gonna make floppies when they do well very rare. And maybe make trades more demanding.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and like you said, especially if more companies go that way of not doing second and third printings, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody's going to be scrambling to get to that comic shop to get those first editions because that's all you're getting.
Yeah, and it'll make them worth actually more money because there'll be less printings of them.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, there'll be this time period where they'll be like 20 years from now, and they'll be like, say Gunslinger Spawn, there was only 100,000 copies. That's a lot, but still 80,000 copies made, and there was no second print and third print, and it was during the paper shortage time and back in 2020. But yeah, it definitely has that up. It definitely limits what you can buy, so you better get there. But how does this paper shortage affect your buying habits? Because for me, my comics were delayed, not all of them, but the Image comics never made it to my comic shop.
Like Ant and Spawn, right?
What's that?
Ant and Spawn were the big ones that were delayed.
Gunslinger Spawn was delayed. And I know other Image books, like Image just in general, did not have any books come out last week. And so, we were discussing it before the show, about one of the topics, and we buy a lot of comic books, right? I mean, I buy 15, 20 comics plus whatever a week. You know, Brant buys a ton of comic books. Kat, you know, is picky choosy on what she gets now, like if she doesn't like it. But there was a time though too where she would buy a ton of comics. Like if she wanted to, she could buy a ton of them. So, but not everyone is, say, fortunate enough to go out there and buy all these comic books each week. Some people can only afford 5 titles a week because they're based off of a paycheck or they get paid every other week. So how does this affect, and we wanted to ask the viewers out there, how does this affect you in your buying habits, right? Because do you pass up on that title that you were supposed to get last week because now you have this week's books coming in and you have to get these particular books, or do you drop a title for a month? Like, that's what we're kind of curious and thinking about picking your guys' brains. Like, what do you think of at that point? You know, I mean, personally, me, I still buy everything, but that's just me.
What else? We also come from a different standpoint, again, reviewing comics and stuff like that. Yeah. So I think no matter what, I'll get it. I think I'd probably read it digitally that week if I didn't get it physically. And if I didn't like the book, then that's the time I'd be like, oh, you can keep the book because I didn't like it. So I think that's the only time it will deter me to not get it. Because if I like the book, I'm still wanting it in my collection.
Yeah, I like you said, Kat, we're different because we read for the show, and I think if we weren't doing the show, we might read a little bit less. Maybe not because we love comics, but you know, I think we'd be a little bit more choosy. But yeah, I think as a general consumer, I would be more picky with what I picked up, and like those things that I'm kind of on the fence about, or they're not like my favorite books, I'd probably wait and see if it gets collected or like you said, read digitally or that kind of thing. So
right.
Someone mentioned about the bags and boards. Someone who's packing books right now, that has not been fun. I just went on Amazon to get I needed like hundreds of them because I've been doing Comic Cons every week and I've been packing for Buy Visibility. I can only get 6 packages through Amazon, and then me and Phil were trying to get through the company. Well, you can't get it until February, and we ordered it like a couple of weeks ago. The next time I can get more is February.
Yeah. I ordered recently, same reason fulfillment. And I think when we ordered, there was only like a handful quantity wise left of the ones that we got. So yeah, that's crazy. We lucked out and were able to get a few, but not enough with other stuff coming up. So hopefully, hopefully supplies come back.
I'm curious about like Gemini mailers too, because I've been like flying through those. So I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, we're about to order some of those too. Yeah, I don't know. I'll let you know because I think we're going to order some like this week. So
no, please do. I have enough, but we also are going to fulfill the crossover and Slice of Life, soon. So it's like, oh, okay, we got 2 more campaigns to do. So I don't know. But then other people in the comments are asking about Marvel and DC. I don't know. They have their own printer, so I don't know if they'll be affected as much. I think because of like the indies are going to be more affected by this.
But Marvel's their books have been pushed back. Like for instance, like you look at Venom, that book has been pushed back. There's a couple other books that were pushed back also because Venom was supposed to come out. Was it last week? And then
I think it was last week. Yeah.
And then it got pushed back to this week. Then I think it got pushed back to next week. So I don't even know what's going on. Like it changes on a daily basis of when that book is getting ready to come out. And I don't think that's the only one either. So there's a lot of books, and a lot of the smaller indie publishers are constantly being delayed each and every week. But I mean, honestly, it sucks because it makes it hard to plan and it makes it hard to budget. So I'm kind of with you, Kat. I would read it digitally. And if I didn't like it, then unfortunately I would have to be like, listen, comic shop, I can't afford this book this week because it's been delayed so much and we're just going to have to put it back, And unfortunately for the comic shops, then they got to eat the book and keep it on their shelf. And I think that really hurts them too.
Sylvia brought up a good point. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, he asked, what about, well, actually, I misread his comment, but it made me think of something. He said Valiant, but I was thinking variant in my head. And I wonder if this affects publishers doing variant covers. Yeah, exactly.
I think it should, especially like companies like Dynamite, and I would say Marvel too. They tend to do a lot of variant covers. DC, they tend to do like 3. I think that's the safe bet. But yeah, I'm curious as well. I don't know if we'll see as many.
Yeah, when you look at the amount of variants for Venom and the amount of variants for House of Slaughter that's getting ready to come out, it is like 25 covers each.
Yeah. Now, a little behind the scenes for people that don't know, when you do print your books, you can split printing with different covers and the same guts, basically. So it's kind of in the same print job. So it's not like you're printing like a bunch on top, different print jobs and that kind of thing. But still, but still, you'd want to, I guess you'd want to limit how many of those are available to cut down on those, because of the paper shortage. So I don't know how they're going to address that.
Yeah, I mean,
well, we know our printer's been like since COVID, like it used to be a 2-week turnaround, so now a month turnaround.
Right.
So I don't know if that's to do with paper shortage as well, but
yeah, I don't know. So it's
we
crazy.
will see what happens. Yeah, it is crazy stuff. We'll see how delayed everything is, but it's an interesting conversation for sure. Everything's changing about the industry. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Every week something changes.
It's funny. Tizzy said maybe stick with A and B covers. I have a Kickstarter launching soon. We have 4 covers.
I think 4 is that's the solid amount.
Yeah, I agree.
We saw the next issue of Action Comics is being pushed back a week or 2 as well because of the paper shortage, I believe.
Yeah.
So you definitely, and someone asked, is the paper shortage related to the recent lumber shortage? I'm guessing. I'm guessing it's related to the same thing. But yeah, we'll see in the next couple of weeks how our pool is affected. But we thought it'd be interesting to talk about, especially the whole first printing thing, and if that's going to change. Again, the way we collect comics and the way we collect floppies, and will this, bring more people to trade and stuff like that, which I was reading in the comments. Some people have already turned to trade a bit more, which I don't blame you. I still like the floppy experience, but I don't blame for people who want to binge read.
Yeah.
So that is all the news for this week. We're going to jump into some news me and Brant have, and then we'll go into the comic books for the week. So Brant, what do you want to talk about? I know you got a Kickstarter coming up.
Yeah. So fingers crossed, launching next week. I had to delay it a little bit, but In the Land of the Dragon issue number 1, that book that I was just talking about with all the variant covers, is launching soon. And I'm going to share the screen here. So there is the pre-launch page that we have up, and we do have 4 covers. One of them is by Federico Sabatini, who is doing Darkhold Blade, which comes out this week. So lots of gorgeous covers. I showed them to you guys earlier, at least one of them, and really happy about that. But this is a cyberpunk fantasy comic series, first of a 4 to 5 issue miniseries, and it's about a couple of warring corporations battling over this child that this mercenary Kenzo is trying to protect. So all kinds of gunfights, sword fights, neon signs, all that good stuff that you'd find in a good cyberpunk story with cybernetic wizards and all kinds of good stuff. So check it out. lastnumberpress.com/dragon will take you to this page where you can click that button to get notified when we go live.
Very cool. And for me, I actually have 2 Kickstarters to talk about. Wild, right? But let's talk about the first one, which is my Kickstarter. Slice of Life is about a gritty anime protagonist, Lady Vengeance, who comes to life and falls in love with high school cheerleader. We are so close to getting to our goal. We're, $1,750 away. So hopefully guys could go check out the book. We got digital copies. We got plush toys. We got physical copies, variant covers as well. Super proud of the book. Again, it's a webtoon. So if you're on the fence, you could even read it for free to see if you like the vibe of the book. So there are some covers for that. And yeah, we're super excited. We have definitely a couple of days left, even more than a couple of days. So hopefully you guys can go check it out. Now, the other thing I'm going to show you guys, because there's actually a whole nother, and this is the wrong Nightmare Theater. There's a whole nother Kickstarter I'm a part of. I'm not running this Kickstarter, but I do have a story in it. Nightmare Theater 2. It is a horror anthology. So right in the time for Halloween. And I wrote a short story about an actress. I'm going to read the exact thing. This is the art. So this is the art style here. If you're looking for a horror story from me, it is about it's a story for me that explores a stalker's obsession with a Hollywood starlet, but he won't be the only one hiding in the shadows. It's a monster story, 6 pages. It's the same artist who does Witch Creek Road. Super proud of the story. Phil as well, my co-writer for Slice of Life, is doing his story as well. Let me see. I think it's one of the first ones. Maybe I could highlight that as well. His is about I'm going to read the whole thing. This team reveals the scars that only children can see in when you're older. So this is some of the art style. It's really cool too and really creepy. So go check out the Kickstarter. In one day, it's already over 200 backers. So I'm so excited about the success of it and excited for you guys to read that story. So that is it for our plugs here. So we're going to go into some comics and I'm going to pass it on to Mike.
All right, guys. So just before we get into that, though, real quick, while we go into these comic books, I just wanted to try to find out if your guys' comic shops are doing anything for Halloween this particular week. So whether it's during the week, tomorrow, Saturday, are you guys having any sales, stuff like that? Want to know in the comments below. Very curious about that one. My shop
don't even know if mine is. I don't know if
mine
is. I said, I don't know if mine is. I'm not even going to be here. So if it does, I hope they don't.
My shop is doing this comic extravaganza because they have a few Marvel titles that they're re-releasing, like issue 1s to celebrate Halloween. And then we're having sales. They're having sales on trades and hardcovers and all that stuff. So I'm definitely going to check that out. And then I had a question for me on here, and it says, Mike, what are you going to do for episode 500 for my comic book haul? Well, I'm not going to give you what I'm going to do. I don't think it's going to be this big, humongous thing, but I'm going to try to add certain things to it to make it a little fun. But then I should dress up for episode 500. It's actually next Wednesday. It's not this week. This week is 499.
Dress up for 499.
Next Wednesday will be
Return of Jim.
What's that?
The Return of Jim.
No.
No.
I hope so. I would love to see that.
Oh god.
That'd be very Tizzy says dress up as Spider-Man.
Strawberry shortcake. Remember I did that
one?
Yes.
Yep. Oh,
good times.
Yeah. I did Carl when I did did that.
I do.
That's so funny. But yeah, it's coming up next week, and then I'm gonna add, obviously I'm gonna try to find some cool things for episode 500, and then try to just add some other things to the video. We'll see how it goes. I'll play it by ear. It is just definitely an awesome milestone, though. But I'm not dressing up.
No dressing up.
Boy, it's so funny. All right. What did we get? Did we get a comment here for the thing? 2 comic shops here. One never has sales. The other does on an occasion. But I haven't seen any announcement for a Halloween sale. That's a shame.
Yeah. Tisk.
I have a feeling my store won't, to get people in the door, man. Like, we have these events, right? And I know I mentioned one to you guys, local comic book shop day, which is on November. What did I say it was? It was 24th or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
November.
Yeah. That's another thing that's got some cool comics getting ready to come out. There's like a Venom issue 2.
Isn't that Thanksgiving week? Are they doing it Thanksgiving week?
Yeah.
That's
it
crazy.
seems like it. There's like a Walking Dead like foil cover. There's quite a few things. There was even a Metallica issue celebrating 30 years of the Black Album. Holy shit. Does that make you sound old or what, man?
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't alive, so.
Thanks, Kat.
That's like
no worries. They have 3 years on me.
All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into these comic books. So, guys, of course, it's the spoilers. These books have been out for a week, so we're going to spoil stuff. And if you haven't read those books, well, just pause the video and then eventually we'll move on to the next book. So, all right. The first book we're going to talk about is Catwoman Lonely City, issue 1. This is Cliff Chang's book. Did everything with it, right? And this first issue I thought was absolutely amazing. I didn't expect it to be this good. The concept sounded pretty cool. Kat was saying that people gave it good reviews. And so I was like, oh, okay, I'll check it out. And then after reading it, I was like, oh, man, this is kind of cool. You know, Catwoman was in jail for 10 years. She's like 55 years old. She's got messed up knees, messed up back. She was accused for killing Batman, kind of, I guess. And everyone else who else died along the way. And now basically you find out that Harvey Dent is like the mayor of the city, and he basically released Selena to for political reasons to get reelected, to put her back in jail again, because thinking that she's still that same old criminal. But the whole book along the way was kind of emotional. I enjoyed it, and I thought, again, it was a nice surprise.
Yeah, this was a good issue. You go, Brant.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the only reason I read this one as well is because Kat recommended it, and it wasn't even on my radar before you mentioned it, Kat, and I didn't know like what to expect. And then when I first started, I'm like, oh, this is just like a, kind of a, whatever. It's future state.
Like Old Man Logan.
Yeah, type. Old Man Logan kind of mashup and stuff. But like you were saying, Mike, when I got into it, it was actually a really good story. And it was interesting to see her perspective, now after being in prison for so long and having, the weakened knees and back, like you said, and kind of going through her old stomping grounds and seeing everything that's changed. And it was just, and then you get the flashback with what actually did happen with Batman and stuff. And that leads to the bigger story, which I honestly didn't remember or didn't realize this was a continuing thing. So I thought like it was like a one shot. And then I was like, okay, there's more to the story.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so
I'm excited for the rest of it.
Yeah.
And Cliff Chang writing and doing the art worked for this for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a good issue. I liked I just liked the whole thing. I liked the lonely city, but it's like the loneliness of Catwoman was so good. And the artwork was not too dark for a darker story. And I like that it was from this anti-hero's point of view. You don't really get to see that as often with these old men stories or old woman stories. And I'm definitely excited for the next one. The only thing I don't like is stupid magazine size. I don't know what to do with it.
I know.
I'm like, oh man, I just want to read it digitally, but it's such a good book where I'm like, I don't want to read it digitally, but I feel like I have to.
Speaking of paper shortage, there's no magazine bag and boards at my shop. I couldn't get it. Yeah. So now it's just sitting right here on my freaking stool here, just probably getting warped or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying?
I know, that's the sucky part for sure. So I mean, I'll definitely get issue 2 either way. I was at Baltimore Comic-Con and Cliff Chang was there. I actually did get to see Cliff Chang, not for Catwoman though. I wanted to go. Brian K. Vaughan and Cliff Chang were sitting next to each other, so I got a signed Paper Girl omnibus by both of them. Nice. It was actually just the price of getting the comics. I got the comics. Wow. I don't have the omnibus, so I got that. Got it signed by both of them, and I got a Saga compendium signed by Brian K. Vaughan. So I'm like, all right. Like I never buy myself stuff when I when I'm working. So I never really did, but I saw them and I'm like, Brian K. Vaughan doesn't go to that many conventions. So, and they're both together. So I was like, I got to go there. The point I'm saying for this, not to brag about my Paper Girls, but also I was going to say a lot of people were just a little. But the other reason was to mention that Catwoman was all over the place. Even like people just walking by my thing. Like I saw that issue a lot. So it seemed like a lot of people liked it and they wanted to get a sign. So I thought that was cool. No, we do have a super chat here for $10. New Type says, hello, since Miss M is on my mind due to TV show, even before Outlawed, were you a fan of Bruno Kamala romance and Ahmad's run? Because it really felt messy and toxic for me. It dragged for 13 issues. I was a fan of their romance before that run. I don't think they did a great job.
Yeah, from the original run.
Yeah.
That's where it seemed natural.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That relationship was developing and getting better as time went along. And Then in the new run, it was just, God, that new run was so bad.
In the new run, you'd already had them both go their separate ways, and Mike had been introduced for Bruno, and that felt right for him. And to try to, run it back and do it all over again, it didn't work. I don't think so.
Right. And we had a comment earlier going back to the sale stuff. It says one shop just finished their sale on back issues, and the other is doing a sale based upon costumes on Sunday. I think that's kind of cool.
That
like if
cool.
you go in there with a costume on, like, hey man, if you get, I don't know, a certain discount based off of the costume you brought in, I think that's kind of cool. Like have a costume contest. Whoever gets first place, like gets 50% off. Whoever comes in second gets 30, and then third like 10 or something like that. That's a good idea, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
Keeps it fun too.
Oh, absolutely. All right, so I'll take that off, and so let's move on. So yeah, once again, we appreciate that super chat as well. That's very generous of you. And next, we're going to talk about the death of Doctor Strange issue 2. So this issue is cool. I liked how we got to see like Doctor Strange from like the 60s, and he was created as a contingency plan, like took himself away for like a week, and in case he died, he would be brought into the picture to kind of take care of affairs and whatnot. And then the funny thing is, though, he's brought in the year 2020, and this is like, again, Silver Age Doctor Strange, and he all talks funny, and he doesn't know anybody, and he spent this whole issue trying to figure out what was going on, and then you come across these, what were they, the three mothers? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So they looked kind of creepy as well. I liked the issue. I thought it was fine. I just wish that, it was like we've seen this all before. It's just like the bad guys have a chance to conquer right there and then. And they're like, no, we got to attend to our child. We just wanted to see what these Guardians were like. And since they're so easy to defeat, we're going to defeat them later on. And I'm like, dude, we've seen that. It's a typical trope in comics. Yeah. Like, it's such a
it's also plot. Really dumb,
right?
It's like, let's give them a chance to research us and find out how to beat us later.
So cliche.
Man, yeah, that one grossed me out. The
worm one.
Yeah,
it was gross.
Yeah,
I didn't love this issue. I thought this was, I don't know, like think about it as like a murder mystery, right? Like the idea of like, okay, Doctor Strange is off the map, and then you have the other Doctor Strange is the detective, and I don't feel like I miss him because of it. I also don't really care about Doctor Strange's world, so that's an added bonus of why I didn't love this issue. But yeah, I'm just ready for that issue 5. I might just like wait until that issue 5. Like I'll read that and not read any of the other issues because I wasn't as entertained for this one.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle. I think there were elements of it that I thought were fun, like when Cleo came back and it's like, oh, your wife? My what? And that kind of stuff. And that's kind of fun playing with that. But at the same time, I kind of see where you're coming from, Kat. It's like he's trying to solve his own murder. It's, there's not that urgency, that loss, that So and because I don't think either one of you are still reading Trial of Magneto.
No.
Yeah, it's not my top 5, so I did want to mention that it's kind of a similar thing that's going on in there because Scarlet Witch is back, but it's not the same version. It's a younger version that doesn't remember everything. So it's like, are these connected, or is this coincidental, or
that's weird?
Is this bad editorial? So what's going on? Yeah,
that would be very bad editorial. A very similar plot going on at the same time, and that they're not connected. That would be so bad, right?
Yeah,
but. This was not in my top 5 this week, but it definitely, like you said, it had fun elements in there. I just, that one part at the end, I'm like, kill them. This is your opportunity. You destroy them now. How many times do we see this? I'm like, that just bugged the crap out of me, right?
Yeah.
But we'll see where it goes. I want to know who did murder him, and actually, I want to see if his 60 self does expire. Maybe it will go to that, and he doesn't get things taken care of. And then it's like, well, now what?
Right.
If he does happen to, because at the end of the day, yes, he is missing from the comic book. Like, this one is going to disappear eventually, and he's not going to be brought back to, let's not say that, but he should be still dead, even when the 60s one does expire. Like, he's not back. He's only there for a week.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely see. And then we got a comment here. My shop didn't get their Marvel books last week. Luckily, it was a light week, so there weren't a lot of missed issues, but still sucks having to wait. See, everyone is a little bit different with this whole situation. Not everyone got Image. Not everyone got Marvel. I feel that someplace people are missing their DC comics. It's all across the board. I
haven't gotten affected yet, but we'll see tomorrow.
That's going to go there. I got no books.
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah. I hope I get my books tomorrow, too. So let's see what happens. All right. Let's talk about our number 5. So, Miss Catherine, what was your number 5?
Mine was Refrigerator Full of Heads, issue 1. I had a fun time with this. It was dealing with the lore that we've already had, but it was very new reader friendly. I love the shark moment in the end where they cut off the shark's head and then it's still talking.
That's cool.
Because usually it's just humans. Like we've only seen human heads do that. So to see it with an animal, I thought was cool. Like, the action was fun. It was a good setup. It felt like an opener to a horror movie, and that's all I want with this. So I had a good time with it.
Right. I liked it too. This was actually like, I had a tough time trying to put together a top 5 because I liked about 7 books, like all about, the same. And this was one of them. And this kind of fell number 6. And the only reason why it fell number 6 is because I felt like the plot was a little bit rushed. Like they tried to cram a lot into that first issue. Introducing the couple, introducing all the artifacts, introducing like what these weapons can do. Then you gotta get right to the plot where the dude, for some dumb reason, likes taking license plate numbers down of motorcycles. Like, why was he doing that? Like, I don't get that, and then he's being chased by these motorcycle guys. I was just like, and then I felt like that end of the book felt like it was a little bit rushed. It was like, oh, there's a glowing axe at the bottom. Okay, let's go back. And we got to take a book. And then we got to hurry up and find the shark and chop its head off. That was all cool. Like, I really loved it, but it just like felt like they really compacted a lot in. So that's why it fell right out of that top spot. But I really enjoyed the story, and I want to know more about this knife also, that when you poke somebody with it or whatever the case may be, they come like catatonic, like they can't move. So I'm really intrigued by this.
Yeah, no, like I definitely agree. I think the first volume had a slow start, so that's why I'm really excited to see where this will go, because it took me like 3 or 4 issues to start loving that book. So
Gotcha.
I hope it's the same thing here, or maybe it'll happen quicker.
All right, Brant, what was yours?
Mine was Batman 115, I think it was.
Man, you like Batman this week?
I did. I enjoyed it. I don't like the magistrate stuff. I could, take or leave, but the other stuff, the conversations with Ivy and Mr. Wise, who we find out is Dormouse, and Miracle Molly and Batman. Both of those conversations just kind of won me over. And then, of course, you have the backup story with the Batgirls as well. So, which I also really enjoyed, that tied into to other books this week. So, yeah, I thought it was a solid read. It was better than the past couple of issues, I think, for me.
I'm still not feeling it, man. I'm still not feeling this whole arc. I mean, I like seeing the Batgirl stuff, but even that wasn't like great. Like, I definitely like the Nightwing stuff more. Yeah, no, bored is honestly, I agree. I think it's boring.
And I think part of it has to do is because we've been dealing with magistrate, all this stuff for the longest time. So it just doesn't feel like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like anything special or anything new. It just like, get to the end of it, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like I'm not caring about anything that's going on right now.
Right. And I totally get that. And I agree with that 100%. It was literally just those conversations
Right.
that I enjoyed so much that it was like, okay, you know, this won me over with this. And then, you know, again, the Batgirl story. So
totally get it. All right. My number 5 was actually Nightwing issue 85.
Oh man, that's low.
Yeah, it is
well,
low.
I just told, like,
yeah, right.
It was hard for me. Like, I flipped through them a couple times, and I'm just like, okay, I'm talking nitpicky stuff on why this is number 5. I mean, this could have easily been higher, right? But it was a light week too, and so one, even though I seem to be getting adjusted to the artwork right now during this, the artwork is not the same as what we're used to getting from this book. 2, it's still connected to Fear State, Magistrate stuff. I want the story that we've been getting before Fear State actually happens, right? But again, those are nitpicky stuff. I love the story, though, overall. I love the Barbara and Dick interactions. I love them hooking up like that. You know, she was poisoned by the fear toxin. I thought that was interesting, and you get to see, you know, how much pain was in her eyes and all the emotion going through her and whatnot. And just, I love seeing the flashbacks with these two back in the early days. I thought that was really cool too. There was a lot of great moments in this book. And I enjoyed it, just like I enjoyed the last one as well. But for it to get back into the status that it was, it needs to get back to that original storyline and the original artist on there.
I really enjoyed this, maybe just because, you know, I'm a huge Barbara Gordon fan, but I just thought it was a love letter to her in so many different ways, and getting her to be back to being Batgirl, and then even involving Stephanie Cassandra and her relationship with Dick. I just thought Tom Taylor wrote it so well, and I like the art style just because, again, I'm used to it from Spider-Gwen. But yeah, I really enjoyed this issue. It's probably the best thing that's come out of Fear State for me.
Yeah,
you're probably right though about that.
Yeah, that's
for sure.
I really enjoyed it as well. All the reasons that you mentioned, Kat, you know, the love letter to Barbara, kind of going through that whole thing, and her greatest fear is, you know, losing Dick, and realizing that, and all that, and also, you know, dealing with her back thing and building the suit to support her back and go out there, and you know, that it's basically her legacy is coming against her, and she's going to go out there and fight it, and everyone she loves is at the center of danger in this, and she can't handle that, and you know, she can't sit by and just do nothing with that. So yeah, I really enjoyed that aspect of it. You know, you could take the Fear State backdrop away from it, and it's a really good story. So, and I didn't mind the art either. So
all right, pretty cool. So let's move on then and talk about Nubia and the Amazons issue 1. I guess I'm the only one that read it.
Yeah, I started it and then I didn't finish it.
So. Okay.
And I didn't read it because I haven't been following Wonder Woman, so I was just like, I guess I'll.
And
skip
you don't
this.
have to.
Yeah, okay.
You don't have to. It's a perfect jumping on point.
It's kind of a flashback, right? It's kind of getting into how
it's not even. It's not even that. It's
okay.
In a couple of scenes, it's a flashback, but in this issue, you're introduced to Nubia in the beginning, and you got to see her come through the well for the first time, and then the well has been closed for a long time, right? And many years has passed, and now the well is opened up, and it's actually brought forth a whole bunch of other new women in here. And so every once in a while, you do see a little flashback of Nubia, of what she's gone through. So basically, you're getting introduced to new Amazons. So these are new people that you're going to be seeing in this series. Now, the one thing that maybe you did not hear, that you could have, but there's a new trans person that's an Amazon that's in this book that gets introduced. And it's not it's not clearly said that she's trans, but I've heard and I saw from other media outlets that this character is, and it's been confirmed by what's her name that writes this book?
Oh, let me see who writes it. Nubia.
Yeah.
Nubia.
About what's her name?
Yeah. Is it Vita who writes this?
Yeah, Vita. Yeah, that's
okay.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vita.
So, and the girl's name is Baya, and she sits there and she says something when she gets resurrected, like, I feel something that's completely different that I've always wanted before, or something like that.
Oh wow!
So I
didn't read that far.
Yeah,
so.
And that's what she says. Let me see if I can find it real quick, just because I want to.
While you're looking for that, I did read Wonder Woman last week. It was a jumping on point because she came back from that story where she was dead and all that stuff, and Nubia was in it. And I liked the character, and I liked the backup stories we got during Future State. I couldn't get into the first few pages of this, and that's why I was running short on time, and I just kind of never went back to it. But maybe I will.
Yeah, I mean, I found this just quite interesting, and just because I was like, oh, look, we're getting all these new characters, so this is perfect. And this is a prelude to that Trial of the Amazons event that's going to come out. So, yeah, it introduces all the characters, and then it goes to that one character, and she says, I don't know how to explain it yet, but this is the exact moment. Feels like my soul has desired it long before I came here. I am Baya. That's what she says. So, and she's crying in that moment. So,
man.
So, and it says, welcome, Sister Baya. So, I don't know. I just found it interesting. And then, you get the protector of the gate or whatever it is. And then all of a sudden, like, she had this nightmare and all hell is breaking loose. Like, you see, like, Diana just, like, crying blood from her eyes. And it's just all Themyscira, just, like, you can see it, like, burning to the ground. And whatnot. Good. Yeah. So it looked quite interesting. Like, even though it wasn't like necessarily in my top 5, because it was kind of a slow read, no action, it was a really, good jumping on point for a lot of readers. And I think people could overlook it, or whatever they heard on the internet about the new character, about DC and their agenda, or whatever the case may be. They could be turned off about all this. But I thought it was pretty cool.
I'm glad it was a good issue. May I'll check it out. It's interesting to see that I know, Brent, you said Wonder Woman was better last week, but it's still interesting that everything but Wonder Woman, like around Wonder Woman, is better than the main title of Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Because you have Wonder Girl and now Nubia.
Yeah, for sure. I'm hoping that, Wonder Woman gets back on track now that it's back, her back on Earth and everything. So we'll see.
And they have the big arc coming up. So I'm interested in that. I think that's when I'll jump on. If I am going to jump on a Wonder Woman or even Nubia, like I'll probably like pick up that and see.
Yeah. Right. So I'll be curious to see where all these new characters go. Yeah. And based off of like their attributes and what they can do is where they position themselves on Themyscira, which I thought was quite interesting too. So this is cool, man. It definitely surprised me in many ways. Let's hope it keeps up.
Nice.
All right. Let's talk about Thor, issue 18. So this is the one issue right before the new story arc, right? That's going to take place in issue 19.
Definitely felt that way.
And Nick Klein,
definitely a filler story, yeah.
Yeah. And Nick Klein is going to be the artist coming back. So we're going to be getting that back. But I enjoyed this book because I like Throg as a character, and
it was fun.
Yeah. And I liked how Thor is kind of like, Loki, I need your help. You're the only one I can trust. And he's like, no, there's other people that you can trust besides me. I'm a king now as myself, and I got my responsibilities. Yeah. And I thought that was really cool. And it's like, basically, it feels like Thor was begging for Throg's help, but Throg was aware of what was going on. And he's like, yeah, man, I called my team like 4 days ago, dude. He's like, I knew you were coming to me. And seeing him acquire the team was so much fun in this issue.
Yeah.
He got bats from Doctor Strange. He got Lockheed, which I thought was really cool as well. and it was just cool. And he's just like, dude, Avengers Assemble, let's go. You know, I like this issue. I thought it just surprised me.
I like when
the second half more. Did you? I thought the art was off for the first half. That's why I didn't like the Loki and Thor art.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. It was definitely more. I don't know. It was more in line with the animals than it was with the people. I agree with you on that. I enjoyed it. I liked the part where he was like, you know, when we're together, you will call us Avengers. It was just like, put respect on our names, man. But I really liked that conversation with Loki too, and that almost made my panels where he was like, there was a time, you know, I would have loved to hear that from you, but that was a long time ago. You know, I'm past that. And it was like Thor kind of being put in his place a little bit, you know, kind of realizing what he's, you know, where he's at, who is, you know, how he's treated people, I guess, you know, and that kind of thing. So it was interesting, and I just had fun with the Pet Avengers, but it was definitely a filler story. But you were saying, Kat?
Oh no, that was it. Like I just thought the beginning was like, you know, wasn't as strong, but then once we got to the Pet Avengers stuff, I'm like, that's fun. Yeah, but it's a filler arc, so
I like seeing all those bugs and creatures and things like sitting there.
Yeah, his world.
Yeah, his world. Yeah, because you don't see that.
Thor's like sitting in there like this.
Yeah, that was good.
Tevye was like, "Where's Lockjaw?" Lockjaw was in there.
Yeah, he was in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a question from Architectural Foam Panels and Columns. That's a great name. Inferno number 2 out this week. Maybe. I mean, you just never know. I think, like we talked about earlier, we don't know who's going to get who. I think different shops are affected.
Yeah,
in different
it's supposed to be out this week. Yes.
Yeah.
Let me see. Inferno 2
I heard one of my viewers said they like didn't get Inferno issue 1 yet, but then Inferno issue 2 is coming out tomorrow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
They're talking about one of the commenters was saying that CGC and CBCS is also delaying.
Oh, yeah, that's costing people money. I mean, listen, you send books out right now, especially to CGC, you're lucky you'll see them in March. I mean, it's just taking them so long to turn around books. It's crazy. All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about our number 4. My number 4 was the book we just got done talking about.
Oh, nice.
Yep, Thor issue 18. And Brant, what was yours?
Mine was Fantastic Four 37. This was fun. Certain parts of it were fun, and certain parts of it were like a little deep. You know, with what's her name? The Profiteer, is that what her name is? Something like that. The one that had the kids before had them battle in the battle arena.
Oh yeah.
Her coming back and trying to take them, and you know, the whole thing is around Halloween, and they're you know, using disguises to get as much candy as possible. So that was just fun.
Dude, I love that.
Yeah, it was so fun. And you know, then you had Johnny, you know, who got to go out and meet with Spider-Man, and their little chat was fun as well. Yeah,
play some clobbering time, Hangman.
Yeah, melt down the Statue of Liberty, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And
you had a good time.
Yeah, but then you got the kids who are, you know, trying to stop themselves from being taken, and what's his name?
Joe.
Yeah, Joe kind of goes, you know, falls back into those old habits and just goes brutal. And
he does.
Man, that was it got really dodgy there, and you know, Ben Grimm having to kind of tell him that you're my son now, you don't have to do this, and that kind of thing. It was just really
that was such a good moment. That's in one of my panels for this week, because I'm like, man, that hit hard. But then also, like, I just thought this was such a well balanced issue, because you also had Reed Richards dealing with his father's stuff and having a really emotional moment between Sue. Then you have the whole Grimm family. I would probably say that the people that had the least was probably Val and Franklin, which was fine. They still had some really fun moments in this one. It's just a really good issue. It was just such a solid Alicia. The puppeteer stuff.
Yeah, that almost made my panels too. That's her dad.
Yeah,
right?
That was her dad. But I don't know if it was like
the neighbor. Who are you talking about? The neighbor,
the guy with the gray hair. Like,
I think he's probably like a classic FF neighbor character, like a side
Is he?
character or something.
Okay.
I don't know, but
Oh, I was
sorry,
confused because I'm like, he's showing up. I'm like, does he have anything to? Because he was telling her like, oh, you know, you can't do this or you can't do that. So I don't know. It's like, what's his role in all this? You know? So
That's true. I didn't really think about it when I was reading it. I was just like, oh no, Alicia, why you want to control your son? That was a really cool scene. Again, everyone had a really good moment in this issue. Like Dan Slott, this is probably the best writing I've seen from him. Honestly.
Absolutely.
So
this
good.
100.
I would agree with that. I feel like he nails the family dynamic of this series. And this series reminds me of like old days of Marvel. Like that's what this reminds me of. This
it's
type
fun
of
but
story.
emotional.
Exactly.
It's like it has a good mix of everything.
Absolutely. And you're left with a great with a funny cliffhanger, or not cliffhanger, but just a funny ending, you know, in a very serious toned book, you know, with what just happened. And Spider-Man's just like, hey man, hopefully you got time to fix the Statue of Liberty because my webbing's about to melt. And that's just something that Spidey would say, you know. He tries to take everything so lighthearted when it's actually kind of a serious moment, you know, in his family who was going through.
It's funny. He writes Spider-Man better in this book than he did his own.
Yes, he does.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely, he does.
Anytime he teamed up with Johnny in the Dan Slott stuff, it was always
that's true.
Issue. That is
true. Yeah. So yeah, it's just good, and it's like because they're a family and because that resembles life so much that you can have serious crap going on and you can still have humorous moments, you know, because you have to. You kind of that's how your brain, you know, processes stuff sometimes, and that's what it feels like. It feels like fulfilling and well-rounded, like you guys are saying. So
yeah, it's a really good book.
Yeah.
All right. So everyone went, right?
I think I saw my number 4.
You got to do 4? Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
So mine was Superman, Son of Kal-El, issue 4. It's a build-up issue. No, I don't think it was the strongest out of all of them, but I think there's a lot of good character moments between him and Wally, between him and Jay. Obviously, a big emotional moment of the house being destroyed, and you know, getting closer to, I guess, the arc ending at some point. But and also the cliffhanger was interesting with him overhearing all those things. There's definitely a lot of movement here, maybe a little bit too much, but it was a, you know, hopefully a good build up to obviously the monumental issue 5 that's coming up next.
Yeah. One of my another one that almost made my panels was Wink and Airy coming back from that.
Yeah, that was so
run.
good.
Yeah. I was wondering when we were going to see any of those characters again, and there they were. So that was cool. That was
and a
nice
good moment too. Like that was a good character beat.
But it also led to like what's Jay's plan to get him into this truth movement? What is that all about? And you know, because he said he had a plan, so it's like okay, that's a little twist that, you know, I don't know where they're going with that, or if it was just kind of an offhand comment or whatever. But yeah, it was a solid issue. Lots happening though. I agree.
I like the issue. I didn't like this as much as the other ones.
Yeah.
And part of the problem was, okay, even though I didn't mind seeing the Suicide Squad characters in there, right? I just felt like, oh, he's doing it. He's going to put his people in there. You know what I'm saying? Which he created them, so he's going to put them in the Superman book, you know?
Oh, because he wrote it. Yeah.
Yeah, because he wrote them. So it was just like, so I was like, okay, here he's putting his people in there. But I was like, I understand, you know? But
it also fit the story that he was telling, though.
It did.
It kind of made sense.
But then what I didn't like is towards the ending, we have another person that took people, experimented on them, gave them superpowers. And then you have John, whose superpowers himself are enhanced as well. And you know what this reminded me of? It just reminded me of Black Widow. We just got done reading this similar story where these people get these powers. And now what's going to happen if they continue to use their powers? Are they going to melt away? Are they going to die? You know, and I felt like we get that similar storytelling there.
I hadn't even made that correlation. I get your point now. But his John's enhanced abilities, it kind of makes future state John make a little more sense now, because it's like, why are his abilities so much stronger than his dad's were? Mm-hmm. Why can he? Yeah. So now now we get that reason why. So
Right.
Let's just hope we don't get to Future State.
right.
I don't want it.
It seems like they're kind of going in a different direction, right? In the Bat books, it doesn't seem like they're totally headed that way. Yeah.
The crisis is going to happen before that all happens.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. We'll get a crisis.
All right. So that was that. So now we all went number 4, right? Okay.
We actually did all the big books out for the next section. So
yeah, we did. So let's go to number 3. My number 3 is actually the next big book we would talk about, because mine is Fight Girls, issue 4 or 5. So even though this issue, I felt like it wasn't like as like gory or whatever it is, it was still had a lot of action in it. It was really a lot of fun. I thought of Bran on this one, even though it wasn't quite wrestling, but there was a lot of just one-on-one fighting in this.
Yeah. It's like MMA style. Yeah.
You're right. And it was MMA, and I love them battling out for the crown. And then you get the outcome. You find out who actually wins, but you still got one more issue to go. And what's going to happen with the winner? What's going to happen to Backwater or whatever her name is, going forward? And then are they going to figure out this investigation, because the niece was the one that was favored to win, and she's in the coma in the hospital right now, and the dude that was doing in the investigation wound up getting killed. So we got all these answers, or these questions still yet to be answered. And we only got one issue left. So
yeah, it's a lot to wrap up. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going on in this last issue, man.
Yeah, for sure. This one just fell out. It's my number 6. So I really enjoyed it as well, though. But and who wins is not what you expect after watching, reading this all the way through and following the Blackwater girl or whatever her name is. And then she doesn't win. It's like, what? Wait a minute. What was the point of this? But yeah, so we still don't have a clue who she is. And like you said, there's so many answers that we still need in that final issue. It's going to be an action-packed, knockdown, drag-out issue. It has to be. Or it's going to be continued in volume 2 or something.
I know. I don't know how they're going to do that, how they're going to wrap all this up.
Yeah, but it's been a lot better. It's gone in a completely different direction than I think any of us thought it was going to go, this series. But I've enjoyed the entire ride.
Oh, absolutely. And just something that I did not expect. Yeah. And then we got a super chat here real quick.
Nice.
We do. So teen question, what are your thoughts on Eve Ewing's short run on Champions that was tied to Outlawed? I thought it was good, especially the Cyclops moments. I didn't read it. I don't think any of us did.
I read one or 2 issues of it.
Yeah, during the Outlawed stuff, right?
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, nothing has been the same except for that first series for me when it comes to like the Champions.
Yeah, I think not to cut you off, Mike, sorry about that, but I think I only read one issue during the Outlawed stuff, so I don't remember exactly what that arc was about specifically with the Champions. So
right. I just want Champions to come back, and I don't want any events tied to them. I just want a regular book with them in it, just doing everyday adventures, whatever the case that may be, just kind of like how it was before.
I don't know if we're going to get a Champions book. I think because of Kate Bishop having that show with Hawkeye, they're obviously building up to a Young Avengers TV show. I think Young Avengers is going to come back, and Champions is going to be like the new Warriors. We'll never really see them as often. I think that's what's going to end up happening.
Very possible. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So we had a Fight Girls comment saying, oh, can't wait for Fight Girls trade paperback. Yeah, it would be a pretty cool one to have, right?
Hopefully it's not delayed with the paper shortage.
Oh, boy. All right. So we're on number 3s, right? So, Brant, what was your number 3?
Mine was a book we just talked about, Superman, Son of Kal-El.
All right. And Kat?
Mine was Catwoman. We already talked about it.
Nice. Okay. So then we're just going to go on to number 2. My number 2 was Catwoman, Lonely City.
That's my number 2 as well.
All right. And then Cat.
Mine was Fantastic Four.
Oh, okay. So we'll just keep going down the road here, right? So we have number 1. My number 1 was Fantastic Four.
Nightwing. Nightwing. Yeah.
Nightwing. And Cat's Nightwing.
Mine was also Nightwing, yes.
There we go. Pretty cool. So even though everything was like a little bit all over the place, it still kind of was it's similar.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. I think we all very much enjoyed Fantastic Four. Me and Brant enjoyed Nightwing, and we all really enjoyed Catwoman. I think that was the consensus.
Those were the 3.
The top 5.
Right. Yeah.
Those were the 3. Yep. So pretty cool stuff. All right. So great stuff there. So now we're going to go on to the chopping block.
Sorry. Okay.
No, it's okay. Go for it.
And then we got Night of the Ghoul.
Okay.
What the hell is that?
So that's the last Scott Snyder Comixology book. And it's like it has to do with a movie. It was weird. I really didn't like it. Honestly, I think out of all of them, it was just above Clear, which was last week's, and I didn't really like that. I've only really liked one of them, but at least now I know when they come out physically which one I'll follow, which is only the one that Brant read, which was the Demons one. Was the only one I really liked.
I saw that comment there. I wanted to read that real quick. I wanted Lonely City, but the size of
turned
me
me off.
Turned me off.
The sign turned him off just so large. Listen, I agree with you. You know, it's just like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's like the same thing. It's the magazine sized, but this book was worth the read. I definitely say, you know, if you could put it somewhere or whatever the case may be,
or read it digitally.
When you read it, though, it is a gorgeous read because the pages are oversized and that artwork really pops. And I get the storage issue, but it's definitely worth the read for sure.
Yeah, I honestly if it wasn't so good, I think I would have read will read issue 2 digitally, but I think the story is too good to pass up to not get it in print. I think it's worth it.
Right. Okay.
There's only 3 issues too. I don't think it's long.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have Cat. What do you got?
Oh,
Death
what else?
Doctor Strange
Death of Doctor Strange. Yeah, I think I'm gonna drop it. I'm debating if I'll get issue 5 because I do want to find out who the new Sorcerer Supreme is. And either way, it might be a good spec issue. So I think I'll just skip like issues 3 and 4 and then jump into issue 5.
And then Brant's half in it.
Yeah, I'm on the fence with it. So we'll see when the next issue comes out, what else is out, and make a decision then.
All right. And then I looked at this at the shop and then I'm like, I can't. I just can't. She doesn't, for me, she doesn't even feel like in the same realm to possess that power. Right.
Yeah.
And so you're thinking of dropping the Phoenix song Echo.
Oh,
I don't think it's thinking it, right? You're done.
Yeah.
Happening.
Yeah. I wanted to give it a shot. I wanted to give it a fair shot because I hadn't been reading Avengers. And I mean, it was fine. But I'm just not into it. And it's like you said, it's I don't know. The whole story was like Forge and like the X-Men became aware of the Phoenix and there was like, and Forge, confronted her and was going to like take the Phoenix Force from her. And she was like, no, you're not taking it from me. And he's like, well, I'll be back to take it. And I'll have a better plan this time. And it's just like, okay. And so then she's like, goes to try to find counsel with somebody that helped her before. On the reservation, and so it was okay, but it's just like I don't know. It's just I don't get the vibe from this one that I have from past Phoenix stories. It's just not. I don't know whatever it is. Yeah,
I agree with you. When you think of Phoenix, right? You think of Jean Grey. You think of those big epic stories back from the from the 80s or whatever or whatnot, where it really meant something. Now it's just like, well, it's just the Phoenix now just possessing some random character. It just doesn't seem epic. It doesn't seem grand. It doesn't seem special, right?
Yeah, and I think they tried to make it in this because she was like questioning why me. I lost my battle, and it still chose me. And it's I don't know. It tried to play her up a bit, but it still seems like too big for her. I think. So
Right. We did get a question on here, but none of us, I think, read this book. And this is, what are your thoughts on the Savage Avengers? I
think
dig
it's
in
ending.
these last few books.
I think it got announced. It's got canceled.
yeah, I don't read it.
Yeah, I think it's it's ending. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't read it. Personally, why I don't read it is actually because I'm not a fan of Conan. So it's just like, I don't want to read a Conan book. That's just me, though.
Yeah, I didn't like any of the team members on it, so it didn't, pique my interest.
Yeah. All the stuff we got, like the little teases, little backstories, and all that stuff leading up to it, just didn't appeal to me either. So I didn't even give it a shot. I don't think.
Black Knight likes it though, so at least he who remains has a friend now that he can talk to about it, right?
Yeah.
All right. So let's see, and then that was it when it came to the chopping block. So Bran, I'll pass it on to you now because we're gonna go on to the books that we're looking forward to for tomorrow, if they come out.
Yeah, if they come out,
any of them.
There was stuff on the list last week that did not come out, so or are not coming out. So there's a lot of books to talk about here. So I will quickly talk about Batman Fortnite because I've talked about it on this show in the past. I'm just excited for it to see what they do with this one-shot sequel. Moving on from that, we've got Aquaman, Green Arrow, Deep Target that you're looking forward to, Kat?
Honestly, just for Green Arrow, I could care less about Aquaman, but we haven't had a Green Arrow story in a really long time, so I'm excited to see what they're going to bring.
Yeah, okay. And then going right from that to Aquaman The Becoming #2. I know we both really like that first issue.
Yeah, really solid first issue. Didn't quite care about the cliffhanger, so I'm curious to see where issue 2 is going to go after this, but hopefully in good places.
Yeah, I just want to know if that's the waiter.
Right? What's up with that waiter?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the biggest question.
Yeah. I did want to I marked this purely because of the artist. Darkhold Blade #1. Federico is doing the art on that, so I wanted to give him a shout out. Go check that out for him. But you also marked this, Mike?
Yeah, because the Darkhold Iron Man book, it really surprised me. I thought it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And so I might just give this one a try. And there's a pretty cool variant cover to this book, which it totally... Is it the variant cover or is it the main cover? I don't even know now. I just look at so many covers. But if it's a variant cover, I'll probably be purchasing it anyway. But again, the Iron Man story really impressed me. So maybe this one will too.
Okay, cool.
I know Wasp is coming out in a couple of weeks. I think I'm going to try that one out. That looked cool.
Nice. I don't know. That first Darkhold story we got just is... don't
even pay attention to that alpha because that had nothing to do with what goes on in these individual stories.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, so next we got Spider-Woman #16.
That last issue was really good.
Yeah.
This is where we get the niece that she is like a Spider-Girl person thing.
Yeah, she's a sidekick. This book's so good. I feel like this is like the new under the radar book. Like I think Black Widow is there and also Spider-Woman. These are 2 books people need to be picking up.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Black Widow #12.
Black Widow's coming out.
Yeah.
Is it a new arc? I think it's a new
arc.
the
first issue of a new arc. Yeah. It's still dealing with some of the same stuff though, right?
Still the Apache thing, kind of. Like he went missing, but remember she went to her like source where she gets all the information from. She handed the picture to him to try to find out more information about the family, the father and the son, to see what happened to them and where they're at and whatnot. So
yeah, that was really good. Yeah, so looking forward to that. Excuse me. We got just in time for Halloween. DC versus Vampires #1. You're picking this up?
Issue 1 DC this week, and I'm not getting many of them.
I'm checking it out. My only thing about this though, this is 12 issues long.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try it. We'll see where it goes, but I'm not holding my breath with it.
Yeah. Then we got Task Force Z, led by the Red Hood.
I'm like,
it's a zombie book. So this is the one where Jason Todd is involved and he's doing I guess he's fighting against Zombie Bane, or maybe he's working with Zombie Bane or whatever. I don't even know.
I think this was a backup in previous other books.
It was, and
Yeah.
now it was a lead-in into this series.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, you'll have to let us know, Mike.
I will let you know. Yeah, for sure.
All right, so we finally get another Wonder Girl issue 4 is
Finally.
coming out. Yeah.
Wow,
Been
that was
so
Feels like
forever.
That's a long
forever.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
I don't
excited.
even remember what happened.
I don't either, honestly.
I
Oh,
know.
it was the Cupid thing, wasn't it? Where she
Oh,
where
yeah.
got affected by the arrow,
Right.
and then she
Yeah.
went running off somewhere, and I think that's what
Okay.
happened.
Yeah. Yeah, that vaguely remember it now. I have to reread that. But I'm always excited when the new issue comes out, even if I don't remember, just because it's so good. The art is so gorgeous.
Oh God, yeah, it's probably the prettiest artwork out there, man.
Yeah,
Good.
so good. And then a book I know we remember, Robin number 7. So
Yes. Ooh, Robin's been so good. That's been like
Yeah.
one of DC's best books.
So surprising.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
consistent. Hopefully this is a even better one. Is this the one where Flatlines on the cover? Or is that last issue?
Thought that was last.
No,
That might have
issue.
been
Is
last
it
issue.
this one?
yeah, it's a he's reading his manga book, and it has like him and Flatline on
Okay.
on the
So this
Is
a
that this
romance
issue? Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
We'll see where that
and
relationship
the
goes.
cliffhanger was where. What was he trying to get? He got then he get
Oh,
the book?
the book, and then
then
Respawn was
Respawn.
hitting him with the chain or whatever it was.
I need to find out who Respawn is. It's bugging me, and it just better not go on 58 issues like
I think it's just a new character. I don't know if it's supposed to be a reveal or not. Yeah, I don't know, but I think so.
I don't know. They're putting so much emphasis on him though.
Yeah,
True.
whoever he is, he's obsessed with Deathstroke. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he's a Deathstroke clone.
Honestly, that'd be a lot of fun.
I mean,
like
Respawn.
young Abel, but young
Yeah.
Deathstroke.
Yeah, the name would
I think
make
that'd be
sense.
cool.
Yeah,
And
We
Rose
will
is
see.
there, so that could be pretty cool.
right. Then we have Marauders number 25, which is an Emma issue.
Yeah, I mean, I love Emma. I like the
Yeah.
cover, but I don't have much hope. I'm ready for the new creative team to jump on,
Right.
and then just see where that goes.
Yeah, I'm nervous about it. I'm hoping with Emma being the focus, it's going to be a good issue, but we'll see.
And also like it's wrapping up Jerry's run, so I'm hoping puts a lot of emphasis in it.
Right. So then we got Daredevil number 35, which is the big square off with Bullseye and Elektra.
Yep.
So that should be good.
This is penultimate. Until the end of obviously the big event. So I think this is going to be a big one.
Yeah, this will be huge. I'm looking forward to that.
Yep. And then finally, Amazing Spider-Man number 77. We enjoyed that last issue. So
yeah.
Now, is it coming? Okay, so I went on to my normal website that again, I don't know. I went on my normal website today. Yesterday it was on there. Now today it's showing up that the Amazing Spider-Man 77 now might not come out till next week.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. People are tweeting about it. I just found that it's still.
Oh, so it's not coming out, man.
Yeah, I guess
that
not.
sucks. I'm getting only like 9 books this week. That's gonna bring me down to 8.
No.
And I'm not getting the vampire book. I'm not getting it.
Come on, man. Now you can get the vampire book.
I don't want
or the zombie book. One of the two.
Yeah, get the vampire one.
I'd get the vampire one before the zombie book, but I don't want either of them.
Oh man. Yeah, because it showed up because I go on the League of ComicGeeks.com.
Yeah, that's where I get the list for this too. So.
Okay, yeah. And like that's how I do like my top 10 most anticipated. And it was up there yesterday. Like I was looking on my pull list, and because that's where I get my pull list, and it was still there yesterday. And then I go on there today, and I'm like, "Where's Spider-Man?" Then I go for next week. I'm like, "There's where Spider-Man went to."
Yeah. See, I didn't look at it today. I just when I put the list up there yesterday. So, oh well, one more week. I mean, we get Spider-Man almost every week anyway. So I
don't mind waiting.
But that's it for most anticipated.
All right. So that is it all together, guys. Do you guys want to say anything else before we close out the show?
Just that obviously check out the Kickstarter, as we mentioned. Slice of Life is my Kickstarter. It's for my comic, but I also have Nightmare Theater too, where I have a short story in there. If you want to see some of my horror stuff. But also this weekend I'll be at Soda City Comic Con in South Carolina. So look forward to see me there if you live in the area. Sadly, my partner in crime, Phil, will not be at this Comic Con, but I will be with my brother, who's a weatherman over there. So maybe you'll recognize him, and maybe that'll help me get a sale. So yeah, hopefully you guys could see me there. Baltimore was great. We had a good time there. So that's it for me. And also, of course, best comics of the week tomorrow will be posted.
Yeah, and for me again, the Kickstarter for In the Land of the Dragon. Go check it out. Get notified when we launch. And also, you can pre-order this, which is one of the variant covers for The Last Ember Hunted, issue number 1. If you go to embercomic.com/hunted, that's the Kickstarter page, and there's a pre-order button that will take you to the pre-order store. But just show you some of the art, and this is the artist that's on Darkhold Blade that comes out tomorrow. So check that out.
Awesome. And then tomorrow, guys, you can check out my 499th comic book haul. Hopefully you'll enjoy that. If you're looking for more content on my channel, I came up with my top 10 most anticipated comic books for next week. List could be all over the place at this point. We don't know. And the top 10 comic book covers of the week for Monday. And then you can look forward to after the poll on Thursday and new #1 issues coming out on Friday. So that's all the stuff that's coming out from me. So, guys, we're going to sign off for tonight. So hopefully you enjoyed tonight's show. We appreciate you guys all watching. And always, don't forget, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. And, of course, always hit that bell so you don't miss any content from us, whether it's on Comic Book Weekly or Comic Book Corner 2.0. And, yes, you can follow us on all the social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and, of course, the most obvious one is YouTube. So, again, guys, thank you so much. Hopefully you get all your books tomorrow. We'll see you again next week. This is The Waving Part, and we'll see you all real soon. Take care.